All right, in this video, I'm going to give you the beginner's guide to Shopify CRO. I'm going to explain to you exactly what CRO is, why you need to do it, and then how to do it on your Shopify store. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you two examples of stores that one has done it really well and another one that has done it not very well, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So stay till the end for that. Firstly, what is Shopify CRO? So CRO stands for Conversion Rate Optimization, which is basically the process of increasing how many people who land on your Shopify store complete a purchase. So once you've got the traffic, it's maximizing how many of those people actually buy from you as opposed to just trying to get more traffic. Why is this important at all? So here's why. If you can increase your conversion rate from 1% to 2%, you'll be able to double your sales without having to get any more traffic. So this essentially means that you're just getting free sales without having to either pay for more traffic, do more SEO, or make more content to get more people onto your website. Now, the average conversion rate for an e-commerce store is 2.8%. 1 to 2% is pretty common. So if you're in that range, you're doing okay. If you're below that, then you should know you're way below average and something is probably wrong. So you should do something to increase it. Now, I'm going to show you what you can do to actually increase this so that you can go ahead and improve yours if it is low, or you even want to maximize it even if it's at the 2% plus range. If you want me to coach you on how to do marketing for your Shopify store, whether that's SEO, Google Ads, CRO, or anything else, for only $49 a month, go to learndominatemarketing.com. And if you'd like us to do the marketing for your Shopify store with guaranteed results, go to dominatemarketing.io, book a call with us there. Back to the video. These are the things that will affect your conversion rate. Now, there is a big list of things and there's a lot into this, but I'm just going to summarize what the main things are that are going to affect the conversion rate. And then there's obviously details in each of these. So things that will affect your conversion rate include the load speed of the website. So how fast the website actually loads, the design of the website and what it looks like. And I'm going to show you some examples of that in a minute. The content and info about the products and how this is actually written, how you're selling the products, what details you've included and things like that will dictate what the conversion rate of your actual Shopify store is. The mobile website. Now, luckily, Shopify usually deals with this automatically, so you usually don't have to worry about it, but you want to make sure that it displays correctly on mobile. Any banners you include on the website, what you're actually offering, so what the product is, how much it costs, and things like that. The headline of the product, the photos, any pop-ups you might have, and whether you have pop-ups or not can negatively or positively impact the conversion rate. The colors of your buttons, like the purchase button or the call to action button. Promotions, free shipping or the cost of shipping and how this is presented. The correct currency for the correct location of the user and where they're based. So for instance, if I'm Australia and you're showing me US dollars, that can be a sticking point for a lot of people and you'll lose some conversions as opposed to having the correct currency for the correct location. Now, the traffic source will also dictate the conversion rate. So for instance, organic traffic tends to perform better than paid ads. It's just how it is. So you need to be aware of that as well. Any reviews that you have on the website, both of your business and of the product itself, is going to help you. Any UGC content you can include on your products or on the pages. What payment method options you have available. So for instance, if you've only got credit card or if you only got PayPal, you're going to lose a percentage of customers versus if you offer more options that don't exclude anybody who wants to use them. How easy it is to check out and actually complete the purchase, and lots more. These are just the main things. There's a lot of things and a lot of details in each of these, but this is the overall checklist you can use that you can go through to try and improve your conversion rate. How do you actually go about doing CRO now that I've explained all these details? So the first and most important thing is that you actually need to be tracking conversions in the first place so that you know how many you're actually getting accurately and from what traffic source. That's the very important part. Now, I have made a video already how to set up Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager with Shopify so that you can actually track all this. I'm going to put a link to that video above. So go and watch that video so you can set the whole thing up, and that's going to allow you to track where the traffic is coming from and what conversions they're completing so that you can actually now optimize it. Now, the second thing is you want to track as much as possible. So add to carts, where they drop off in the checkout, the individual steps of the checkout if possible, completed checkouts, what traffic sources they're coming from, like I mentioned, and any other aspects that you're trying to get people to take, any other actions you're trying to get them to take on your website. You need to track all of this. Now, once you're tracking everything, what you need to do is test different landing pages and different products to find what performs best. So there's no way to improve your conversion rates without actually testing. So it's very unlikely the very first thing you put online is going to be the best performer. It happens on the odd occasion, but usually not. So what you need to do is take your best guess And then from there, you need to test different things. The color of the buttons, a different headline, a different first product image, things like that. All of these different aspects, you want to test them as time goes on and see which perform better and which don't. Ideally, if you can A/B test, that would be the best thing. Now, you can typically find some software or apps that will allow you to split test different product pages, so it'll show a different one to every second user and things like that. So that's one way of doing it. If you can't do that, then another way of doing it is leave the one variation for a while, let's say a month, and then next month have a second variation and see what happens. Now, obviously there's a bit of variance there. Some months perform better than others, but over a long enough time scale or with enough traffic, you will figure out if one performs better than the other. Or if one's doing 3 times better than the other, then obviously that one's doing pretty good, typically speaking. You want to use the list I put above of all the different variables to find the combination that works best for your particular situation. So each e-com store, each particular situation, in different niches, different products, they're going to have different things. So what works for one doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for another. So you need to test all these things and find what's working best for your specific audience and your use case, and then go from there. A couple of tips to increase your conversion rates. So what you want to do is focus on getting the user to take only one action. People make this mistake all the time where they try and put a bunch of different call to actions. They want them to purchase, they want them to sign up to a newsletter, they want them to click on the links over here, a button to go there. You don't want to do that. Every page you send people to should only have one focus, and typically speaking with a Shopify store, get them to complete that purchase. So you don't want to have any other distractions. You don't want to get them to go to different pages, or even worse, a different website or social media or something like that where you'll just completely lose them. You want to only get them to focus on taking that one action. The whole page should be structured around this. Now, simple is usually better. 99% of cases, simplifying the page is going to perform better than an overly complicated page. So keep that in mind. You also want to make sure that they can easily find all the information they need to make a purchase decision. So that includes answering all of the frequently asked questions that might come about to do with this product, shipping information, how long it's going to take, how much is it going to cost, things like that, the warranty, and so on. The more you can give them upfront all of this information before they need to add to cart and things like that, the more you're going to get people actually completing the sale because they know what they're getting. Now, you also want to make the whole process as smooth and as quick as possible. The closer you can get to a one-click checkout, the better, which is basically what Amazon is trying to do, where you can basically just click it and it just sends you the order straight away. The closer you can get to that, the higher conversion rate you're going to have, because at each step of the process you're going to lose some percentage of people for various reasons. And so the easier you can make it, the quicker you can make it, the more purchases you're going to get. Another thing is reviews. So especially if you can get let's say a feed from Google or similar, although Shopify's reviews do work well as well. If you can get reviews and social proof on each of your products, each of your landing pages, you're far more likely to get people to buy it than if you just have nothing at all and then they don't even know if anyone liked it. So here are now a couple of examples that I found of 2 e-commerce stores that will show you what I'm talking about here. So this is the first one that I found, and I think this one is very good, which is why I'm going to use this as the good example. You can see here they have the product, they've got a very nice image, they then have a second image of the coffee beans, so this is obviously a coffee product. They've got a clean headline with 1 kg, so you know exactly what you're getting here. They've got the price here, they've got the reviews, they've got the stars here, they've got the pack size, they have the options immediately available here. It's all pretty obvious what this is. You can add to cart, and now here they've got all these good details. So tasting notes, cup attributes, description. They've got a nice description here about exactly what it is. They've got the shipping information. So you can see here they've even included if you're not going to be at home, what to do, how much it's going to cost, what options they are, how fast it is, all of these different aspects, how it's calculated. You can see how good and thorough this is. This answers any question someone might have to do with shipping. Now you go how our subscriptions work. They even talk about that. So you know about that here. Then you can scroll down here. Then you got more details about the product here. You see you've got even more. It's all nicely laid out. It looks great. You can see the reviews now even in more detail. You can see the reviews, you can read them, and now they've got more products down here. This is a very clean, very well done landing page for a e-commerce product. And you can see here that the whole thing is all centering around trying to get them to add to cart, which by the way, the button is the only red thing on this page. So you can see here, aside from the banner up the top and the bit in their logo, the only other red thing is add to cart. There's no about us button that's also red and a bunch of other other stuff that will distract you. Only when you scroll down here, the subscribe button to the newsletter is red as well. I don't think it's going to cause a big deal, but personally I would have made this a different color. However, I don't think it's a big deal in this case, simply because the only other and the biggest button that there is this one, which is what they want you to click. So in my opinion, this is a very, very well done landing page, and I would be willing to take a bet that these guys have a very good conversion rate on this website. Now, to give you an opposite example of one that I don't think is very well done is this one. First of all, you can see this is not even responsive because I'm not full width and it hasn't adjusted. So this is not even a responsive website. So I'm imagining on mobile, this probably doesn't display very well. We can actually have a look. Yeah, if it's displaying like this on mobile, then forget about it. They've lost sales already because you can't even read that. But let's say we're on the computer here. Now you see here, the problem is it's not laid out very nice. There's no image of the actual product as well. I see what they're going for with this, which is not bad, but it's not clear what this actually is. And now you can see here the add to cart button doesn't even say add to cart, so you're not even sure what that button is until you take a second to read it. Then you got add review and ask a question, which is just distracting from the add to cart. It shouldn't even be here. Not that I can see any shipping information. These are actually links, but they don't even appear to be. Then you've got a bunch of reviews. Then you've got add a review. All of these buttons are pretty much the same color and all blend in very small text. It's hard to read. The reviews are good, but then you got ask a question. There's very little information about the product here. I don't know how much shipping is going to cost. I don't exactly know like what is going on. Now, yes, they have options and stuff, but you can see compared to what I'm showing you here, this one is such a cleanly laid out, well done one with the good colors. It looks good. You know what you're getting. You can see the product. And then here it's like, it's not responsive. The buttons are all over the place. You're not even sure how it works. There's no information about anything shipping. I have no idea what's going on. Just you've got this here. So this is one that I would be willing to bet has a very, very poor conversion rate if it's getting any sales at all. And you can see the difference, I think. So that's it for this Shopify conversion rate optimization. This was meant to be a big overview of how you can do this. Obviously, like I said, there's a lot of details in all of these things, but if you follow this and you go through the list and you do all these things, eventually what happens is you will optimize your website to perform much better than originally. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Catch you on the next one.